Studio to discuss this is the publisher BO News, Bo News Service, Blessing Oladunjoye, and then editor, Social Development News, Fumi Falubi. Ladies, good morning. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. So let's talk about ourselves. We are all journalists talking about creating safe spaces for women in this line of duty. In the first place, let's perhaps put to perspective what we are talking about when we're saying we're talking about creating safe spaces, ensuring the safety of journalists, female journalists in the line of duty. Let me begin with you.
Okay. We know that we have women in the media, and we also discover that as much as we have them, we do not have many at the top, at the management level. So in creating the space, what we are actually looking at this year is challenge, choose to challenge. Yes, the hashtag choose to challenge. So we want to challenge the stereotypes against women getting to the management position. We want to challenge the harassment, the sexual harassment, the abuse by that women journalists face. And you discover that in harassment, it's not only in the media houses alone, even outside, when they go out to cover the events, when they go out to interview personality, women journalists are being harassed. And the reports is not only in Nigeria alone, but even in the developed nations. This harassment of a thing is there, and the gap for women journalists getting to the top is also becoming, is reducing every time. So this, we are challenging the stereotypes.
Right. Let's come to you, Blessing. Now, perhaps your perspective is different when we are talking about creating safe spaces for women journalists.
Okay, so when we're talking about creating safe space for women in the media, let's look at it from different perspectives. Then one, creating a favorable working environment for them. So having policies that sometimes they are written policies, sometimes they're not written. They're just maybe based on individuals or affairs and all that. And what are those facilities available to make working environments conducive for women? So for instance, mode of operation, you have a media organization, women are just there, maybe they need to go for assignments, you're on your own, just go and just get it done. Thank you. But there are some organizations that are providing all those facilities to make work available, work conducive for people. So as a nursing mother, do I have to does my working environment provide let's say crèche for my children, and I know that I'm not so much distracted at work? So are there policies that make it easy for me to attain leadership position in the workplace without necessarily doing double like the male gender? Do you understand? Because there are times whereby, because she's a woman, she can't do this, she can't be covering this bit. So what are we doing? And also, like she talked about in the space of harassment, on the part of media managers, your senior colleagues, junior colleagues, and all of those things, how are those things being managed? And what are those policies in place? Because you could have a particular CEO who just doing things, I feel this is the right way to do. But then another CEO comes who thinks things should be done differently. But when there are policies to guide the operations, how, okay, so this is how female journalists should be treated, this is what should be done, and all of those things are clear. So it makes things easy for women in the media.
Right, Bob, we have been talking about these things over time. I mean, this is not the first time we talk about all of these issues, yet we are not seeing the change that we really want to see. I wonder what you think is the challenge at achieving this safe space that we've been talking about. This is not the first time. Over the years, we've been talking about it. Is it that we are not making our voices loud enough to be heard, or what really is just the problem?
I think for women journalists, we need to be talking about it more. And now that we have some women journalists that are up there,
right,
they need to be the voice for women journalists, for the younger ones, so that as we have editors, female editors, we have female MDs, they should be the vehicle to reach all these gender policies that we're talking about.
A champion.
Yes, in the media. Because when you have them, it will help. And you discover that there was one time in Nigeria that nursing they just see it as just any kind profession. But in this same country, we have a president who was fortunate to marry a nurse, and at the end of the day, she used her influence. And today, we see what nursing has become today. That is, it's at par with the medical doctors. So the same thing, the female journalists that are already there should be the voice, and there's also the need for mentoring. And when I talk of the mentoring, in this regard, the mentor should be willing, and the mentees too should be ready, so that at the end of the day, you will learn from these women, the female journalists that have been there, what made them tick and how are they being able to achieve that feat. So in this regard, the mentor and the mentee must be ready and willing.
Right. Let me come to you, Blessing. I wonder if you see things the same way too. There are women who have found themselves in key positions in media industries, but what more should they be doing at a time such as this, where we're trying to push the female folk to ensure that their spaces are secured, safe? They don't have to make that extra effort such that they should be recognized like their counterparts. What are the policies? What more should they be doing?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I want to take it from the angle you started from when you asked her. We're not where we used to be. Right. We are making progressive change, difference, by the way. And there's what we call progressive realization. Everything won't happen now. But it's good.
Absolutely.
It's good to make progress gradually. So for those who are there, we have women at the helm of affairs of various news media organizations, prominent ones. Do you understand? So once they are there, what you are doing in that particular position would definitely determine if a woman will come next or if a woman will not come next. I don't know if you get my point.
Absolutely.
So when you're there in that particular position, you have the right, you have the opportunity to create all those policies to make it favorable for women. So you might not be able to affect the whole, of course, maybe someone, the chairman of Punch newspaper is a woman. Such woman might not have the power to come and change anything in TVC. But by the time we are changing it and its best practices over there, an organization like TVC might make things happen also by learning from good practices. And I will also say, in an organization like TVC, you have, sometimes you don't consider these things important. So while I was a Radio Continental, now Max FM, if you are going for an assignment as a reporter, there's a car taking you. If you are going home, you are closing late as a female, there's a car taking you to the house, to your house. So it is convenient for you. So it's not as if you are saving your transport fare, but they're also considering your safety. Absolutely. How many organizations are doing that? So if a woman is there, you try to make all of those things comfortable, available. So when someone else comes there, it's easier. And by the time you do it very well, definitely someone else is coming. We also have Association of Women Journalists. We also have groups and bodies who are able to maybe lead this campaign, drive the process, and once it's being sorted, you just see that it's being replicated in various media organizations, even if they don't have the money to drive it. But everything is not about money. It's about the willingness to make those things happen. Yeah,
but like she mentioned, the mentoring and mentee. You're laughing. Perhaps you have a challenge with that.
Okay, so it's actually good for female mentors to mentor young ladies like us. Do you understand? But you really cannot also impose. She gets. So because I can say, for instance, let's say you are older than you want to mentor me. I could say, oh, maybe I don't want to learn under you. I feel like you're proud, you're this, you're that, or your line of profession is different from mine. There are so many, and we all know, but it's quite important to learn from someone. You can't rule that out. Even the Bible talks about different kinds of mentoring and mentorship relationship. So it's quite essential. You might not want to, while I don't want to learn from you, I might want to learn from me. I might want to learn from someone else. Identify someone whose ideologies align with yours. That's just the basic thing in trying to identify your mentorship. But if someone is not available, sometimes you feel, I want you to mentor me, but you're not available, you have a very busy schedule. I won't kill you to mentor me. Do you understand? So I shouldn't take that as, oh, she doesn't want to mentor me, then all female mentors, all female journalists who are up there, they are bad. So I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So you should try to meet whoever it is. It might even be a colleague that is your mentor. It doesn't have to be someone who is far older than you. But we should create that kind of a relationship because you really need to learn it. And so someone like, Tumokewale Shonaya, MD of the WFM, While I was there, she has a way of relating with people. She understands. She might not have the whole time, but when you are with her, all those things she learned from you, she tells you. And there's also something, you don't have to say, blessing, I want you to do this as my mentee. Or I'm telling you, you must do this. I can learn from you directly or indirectly. I might be watching you at home, and then I'm learning from you one way or the other how to go about things. So it really doesn't have to be like direct one-on-one and all that. So you can pick learnings from people as a mentee.
So how far would that bring us closer to achieving that some sort of equality in the workspace when it comes to talk about the media now?
I think the women folk in the media, we should build support system for ourselves. You discover that sometimes women, we are ourselves enemy. Yes, sometimes. And really? You discover.
How do you mean?
See, when you see a woman that is doing well in a sector, you now discover that instead of other women to support, some can start coming up with insinuations. We know how she got there now, this and that. And if you look at men, they won't do something like that. They rally around. So let's rally around the women that are there.
We see ourselves as competitors.
Yes, for women, exactly. Unlike men, it is not. So for us to have that safe space in the media, first of all, we must build support system for ourselves. Work together as, as one, as a team. Then this gender policy that we are talking about, it will be easier for us. If we have 10 policies, and out of 10, we are able to get to this year, it is fine. We are growing gradually
and getting
closer than for us to just stay aloof and not support. And then in the area of training and retraining, women journalists should do that, where we need to get digital knowledge of what is happening around the world in our profession. We should do it so that nobody will just push us aside in our profession. And also in the media, our managers, the media managers should stop seeing women as weaker vessels. There's no beat, or there's nothing that women cannot cover. They should stop this idea of this one is for
it's
men.
Too difficult for the women. The men should handle it.
Exactly. So, but let the women prove their potentials, and this is what will help us to get there.
Right. Let the women prove their potential. That will help us get there. Blessing. Quickly, she mentioned something that I'd like for you to touch on. This competition amongst the ladies, how much this is holding us back from getting to perhaps our promised land that we are looking forward to, where we have that equality. Do you even see us perhaps reaching there sometime soon?
So I would want to start with, it's a word of competition. So we can't say women don't support women. We have men who don't support men also. I just need to believe in your ideology. That's what it means. So because you're a woman doesn't mean that then I should support you hook, line, and sinker. That's just the fact. So it doesn't really mean in generic terms that women don't support women. So, but if we are getting there, yes, we're actually taking that steps gradually. We have a station which is being led by, which is owned by women, dedicated to women issues. We have newspaper organizations, New Telegraph, the Daily Editor, women. So it's just going to take a while. Do you understand? So by the time women are there, they are really making impact. Then you understand that because women have done it before and they can still do it again. So once you see the women who are there, we really do not have to prove to our capacity. Our ability that, oh, I can do this, I must really show that I can do this. It's a man saying, yes, I can do this, you have to put me there. I covered the Edo and Ondo state elections last year, and when I was on the field, when I was sharing the videos, some people were like, you're very scared on the field, you're covering election, you're like this. What if crisis happened? When I was going to go, I had my mentor who was saying, oh, you shouldn't go there. Why would you be going to, it was the Edo election first, why would you be going to Edo state? What if this, what if that? It doesn't matter. So we are the ones who are trying to create like
stereotypes.
Exactly. So the man should be the one to cover politics. The man should be the one to cover judiciary in case there are issues. What says the woman cannot cover it? What are those laws? What are those written laws? We're just acting based on what if. But you even realize that when the woman gets there, she's even doing far better, and we are getting results. So we are getting results gradually, and we really need to encourage more women together. So you're not saying that because I'm in this particular you're covering this bit, blessing, for you to show that you are capable to lead this role, then you must submit like 5 stories when my other male colleague is submitting 2 stories. I don't know if you get my point. So because we really do not have to then start proving that yes, I can do it. Our capacity, we are not saying women should just get there, just want women there, but they should
develop
merit
capacity. Absolutely.
And she talked about the need for training and retraining, even for older women who are also there. We need to, these things are evolving. Technology has advanced, so you're not saying, oh, I'm an expert, I can check kiniko, I train other young journalists and all of those things. We really need to. Institutions are evolving on a daily basis,
and we must understand that things are evolving, and we must catch up with what is going on.
The new realities.
Yes, absolutely. Now, this year, Choose to Challenge. I wonder what you're challenging this time around for me.
We are challenging the stereotype. We are challenging the discrimination against women in leadership. If you look at Africa, for instance, in Africa we have we have 54 countries. And out of 54 countries, how many do we have as female presidents? We have, we just added one now, making 2 out of 54. So you can see the wide gap. So we are challenging the gap. We are challenging the education barrier against girls and women. There's nothing wrong in sending that girl to school to become the next president. Yes, we are challenging that. And we are challenging the social stereotype against women in becoming who they want to be in life. So these are the things that we are challenging this particular year. Challenge the stereotype that is limiting women in becoming who they should be.
Important. Blessing, what are you challenging this year? This year, Choose to Challenge is the theme for the Women's Month. Okay, so
BNE Service is an online development news platform which focuses on women, persons with disabilities, and children. And so in choosing to challenge, I actually challenged discrimination against women with disabilities, because when we talk about discrimination, women with disabilities are further disadvantaged, double disadvantaged. They are women, first of all, and they also have a disability which makes them to be discriminated against to an extent. So I challenge discrimination against women with disabilities because they have rights everywhere to do what they're able to do regardless of their abilities, or we shouldn't say they are there, we are here. So we are all together. And I also challenged, let me phrase it this way, there are female-led households. So when government is talking about the issue of social protection, Nigeria, we are currently going through the review of the national social protection policies. So you say women should get this amount, men should get that amount. But there are female-led households whereby the man might be there actually, or maybe single mothers.
Some are the breadwinners.
They are the breadwinners, but because there are policies that says women should get this particular percentage, men should not get this particular percent, men should get this particular percentage. But where the woman is the one leading a household, there's no man providing anything from that instance. So then I'm challenging the policy to make it available, to make provisions for female-led households. So you don't say because you're a woman, automatically this is what gets to you. And that's when we are developing our policies, when we're not specific enough, when we say everybody, it's easier to forget women. It's easier to forget persons with disabilities.
So our culture still plays a major role.
Absolutely.
So perhaps that is where we should start looking at changing the mindsets of people with regards to this issue surrounding women. Yes. Perhaps we need to do more enlightenment. What do you think?
Yes, because you discover that we have male chiefonists even at workplace. All these things that we're talking about, if not because of the perception of the media managers, some still believe she's a woman. What is she going to do? What idea is she bringing? And that is one of the things. So we need to challenge this, that they should stop seeing women as weaker vessels. We are not weak. We have potential like the men. Everybody is gifted. So let the woman express abilities. So we are challenging this, and it is even high time that we start this awareness right from the home. You discover that the boy child will say, she's a girl. This is what she should do. This is what I can do. If you tell a boy, I could remember one day my children came from school and they are telling me, now we know what boys can do in the house. And I asked, what is it? They said, to wash car. I said, what happened to sweeping? What happened to cooking? They said, no, those ones are for girls. I said, in this house anyway, do we have girl? They said, no. You will sweep, you will cook,
you
will do everything. And they were like, Mommy, you are turning us to girls. I said, I'm not turning you to any girl. But today, I'm happy. They are doing all those things because I've been able to change their orientation. So let's start from home. And changing the orientation also starts with the mothers. We are the one that will say, he's a boy child, let him sit down and do this. Let him, no, that one is not for going to the kitchen. When you are going to the kitchen, take that boy to the kitchen along with you. Let him learn. So we need to start all this from the home. When we start, by the time they grow up to see the society as equal, that we are equal, there is nobody that is higher than the other. That gender equality will be able to achieve it. And gradually we'll be able to challenge all this. And we have a better society where women can thrive.
A better society where women can thrive. And you see that, and you believe, or you're confident that we'll achieve that very soon. Absolutely, we will. Just a quick response to what she said. It's not the duty of the mothers alone to be able to raise the children, to say this is what should be. The fathers should also do that. And home is not the only place where children learn, and that's why it's important we know where we are putting our children. In their schools, you said they came back from school and they're saying that maybe some students are even attending boarding schools, the general society at large. So children, even in churches, in religion, in mosque, so there are different places or forms of learning. So all of these things, all of these places, what are we teaching children? How are we raising them? Sometimes they even learn from our actions, and even inactions. Sometimes you are saying, oh, Ade, go and do this. Tosin, or shower. Yeah, shower is feminine. Go and do that. So they are learning that, mommy is always saying that. Dad is always saying that she should go and do this. So that means you're not directly saying it. So what are we doing? What are actions and inactions that are even reinforcing these stereotypes? Not just by saying it alone, but also acting it and letting it come out from a regular activity. These are the things that we need to challenge in order to bridge the gap moving forward. Thank you so much, Blessing Oladunjoye. You called it BO News, right? Yeah. BO News Service and editor of Social Development News for me, Falobi. Thank you so much for your time on the program. I believe we exhausted whatever it is we wanted to say this morning with regards to challenging the stereotypes, and we can only hope for a better society moving forward.